Hello guys, welcome to another episode of the Big Apple School podcast, where the goal is, of course, to help you improve your English through listening. My name is Benjamin Walker, and today we have three wonderful guests with us, including...
Ken from the Philippines.
Excellent.
Ugur from Istanbul, Turkey.
Varya from the United States.
So welcome guys, and today we're going to be talking about the subject of daily routines, i.e. what you do on a daily basis, and maybe we'll talk about other cultures and daily routines in other cultures too. So let's start with the very first part of the day. So what's the very first thing we do? We go to sleep and we wake up. So we'll start with waking up, and then later we'll move through the different parts of the day and we'll discuss different routine schedules that people adhere to. So, wake up in the morning. What's the very first thing we do? So we have an alarm clock. I guess you all use alarm clocks.
No, I try to beat mine. I will put the alarm on, but I will try to beat it. I don't like to listen to, because I have a rooster, cock-a-doodle-doo, and I don't want to listen to that. So I make sure I wake up before.
Oh, so the actual not ringtone, but the melody is a rooster on your, and is it on your phone?
It's on my phone.
Mm-hmm. And when was the last time people used a traditional alarm clock? Well, I wouldn't say a traditional, an old school alarm clock.
Yeah, before I came here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how to use the phone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because typically in movies, at least in movies from the 90s, if you would watch a scene of people waking up, they slap the alarm clock. And yeah, have you ever had one, Ken?
No, fortunately not. It must have been annoying if I had one in the past, because, in the film, it's just too loud and, sometimes it shakes, and I wouldn't want one for myself. So yeah, I just use my phone. Even though I always beat the alarm clock, I tend to wake up way earlier than the supposed time for waking up. That's unfortunate.
Do you have a fixed time that you wake up every day? Do you guys...
Yeah, like 2 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Lots of times.
So you wake up in the middle of the night
I do.
all the time?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. Well, I sometimes do too, because I drink a lot of water before I go to bed, and maybe I shouldn't, but yeah, and I do take a few trips. But so do you wake up at the same time every day?
No, not really. It depends on the time that I go to sleep the previous night. Yeah. So it depends. Yeah. And alarm clocks are my worst enemy. So yeah, I don't like the alarm clocks, but I have to.
And do you hit the snooze button?
Millions of times.
And what do you do? Do you set a few different times on your alarm clock?
Yeah, if I need to just wake up around 9 o'clock, it's like 9. It's before 8:55, 8:50, 45. So it's kind of step by step. It's reaching that point in a way.
So when you wake, so the first alarm clock goes off, do you just turn that alarm clock off, or do you press snooze?
I hit the snooze button.
And then the snooze comes on, and then the next alert.
Yeah, and I feel myself weirdly comfortable with that. All right, I got 5 more minutes to sleep. Then. So 5 minutes later, again, you realize you need to wake up.
Yeah, fair enough.
But you don't mind that anticipation, that waiting. That would give me anxiety. I may as well just get up and get it over with.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely get anxious too.
Yeah.
I just wake up as well, because I get quite shaken up by the alarm clock itself. Yeah,
I have that feeling too. I actually hate it because I always beat the alarm clock, but then I still go back to sleep. I try to, but then I feel anxious. My mind tells me, oh, come on, you only have 15 minutes, and then I tell myself, no, it's not time yet. It's my right to go back to sleep.
Why do we struggle every single day of our life like that? It really is, because I remember being a teenager and the same thing. And I always would promise myself, I'm going to go to bed earlier. And I never do.
It never happens.
It never happens. No. And here I am in my 7th decade, whatever decade. And here I am. It's the same thing over and over. But what about dark out curtains? I cannot stand the light.
Well, we're going to talk about sleep towards the end, but we'll definitely come back to that.
Well, dark out curtains has something to do with in the morning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that sun shining in at 5 o'clock in the morning, next month, it will come.
Oh, May. Of course, yeah.
It will be.
Yeah, because you've been here. How long have you been in?
This will be my third spring now.
Yeah.
And May, I don't look forward to.
Yeah, it does. Well, I think the sun comes up at something like 4 a.m.
Yes,
sometimes.
it starts getting light, and then it really shines through my window.
Yeah.
I mean, don't you have an eye mask?
Yeah, I'm using eye masks.
Yeah, I don't think I could do that. I don't know. Maybe it makes wrinkles on your.
It's restrictive as well. I mean, yeah.
Well.
All right. Well, would you consider yourselves to be a morning person? I really want to be a morning person. I mean, I can operate in the mornings, but I would say more of like a midday, afternoon person. What about you, Ken? Are you a
morning person?
Yeah.
Most definitely not.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were going to say yes.
I hate waking up in the morning, to be perfectly honest. But of course, it's a struggle. But I have to, because we have morning classes sometimes. I see myself more as a night owl.
Yeah.
I become more active late in the afternoon till evening. That's why I know we're going to touch on this, but I'm just going to, preempt a little bit on this. That's why I find it also a bit difficult to, go to bed. But we're going to go there in a short while.
Yeah, we'll touch that subject in a second. Well, not in a second, in a few minutes. All right, well, what would you say to those who find it difficult to be energized early in the morning? What would you add to your routine to give yourself that extra boost?
Coffee.
Or energy drink. That works.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how much coffee do you drink throughout the day?
Oh my God. In the Philippines, it used to be minimum 3.
Yeah.
But I could go for 4. I think the maximum I had was 5 cups. But nowadays, because I've been limited by the doctor, the caffeine intake, so maximum 2 cups.
Oh, is it because it induces a lot of anxiety, doesn't it? Yeah.
And it also doesn't help at night.
Yeah, it doesn't.
When I go to bed.
Yeah.
So.
Do you drink much coffee?
Oh, I don't drink any coffee.
Oh,
no,
good.
I cannot.
What about tea?
No, I don't drink tea.
So no caffeine?
Well, I have the chocolate and water, and I drink almond milk.
Yeah.
But I would prefer dark chocolate almond milk, which I cannot find.
Okay. I didn't know. Well, I'm sure it does exist. I've just never heard of it.
Oh, yes. I used to have. That was my morning routine in the States.
So I guess it was bitter.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like that. But no coffee. Definitely not.
And would you say the bitterness of it gives you a kick? It wakes you up first thing?
Yeah, because I don't normally eat breakfast.
Yeah.
And so I need a little something like vitamin C packet with water and then that dark chocolate almond milk.
By the way, are those vitamin C packets, are they the big pills that you plop in a glass of water? And
in the States they come in a packet, so you could just pour it in a glass of water and stir it up.
Because I made a funny mistake when I caught COVID last year. I was given a vitamin C tablet to put in some water, and for some reason, it was a big tablet, as you know. Do you know what I'm talking about?
In it, right?
Yeah, it's like a rather big circle shape. And I thought it was a normal pill when you drank.
Swallow it?
Yeah, I tried to swallow.
Oh my God.
And you start foaming at the mouth, right?
And so I was later told that you have to put it into water. So I was choking on this tablet. Well, coming to the subject of water, I drink a lot of water. The first thing I do when I wake up is drink like I'd say probably a pint of water. Do you guys drink a lot of water throughout the day?
Well, I want to address first, waking up in the morning.
Yeah.
So because the first thing that I do, I used to pray first.
Good. Yeah.
Well, back in the day, but I'm a Satanist now. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I don't pray as much as I do anymore. So what I do normally when I wake up is to get a cup of warm water.
I thought you said water like an English person.
So at least 30 minutes before I have my breakfast.
Yeah.
So, and then throughout the day.
So you said warm water. Does that help you with digestion? Or?
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely. And it also warms my body.
Well, are you saying warm water, just room temperature, right? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm the same way. Room temperature.
Oh, I like it ice cold.
Oh no.
Ice cold in the morning.
I mean, it doesn't have to be ice cold, but you know how here in Novosibirsk the tap water is really cold. Well, in most places it's pretty cold.
Well.
Yeah, I like it freezing. What about you, or you?
Yeah, I don't drink that much water throughout the day, but the first thing in the morning, I just put the kettle on and the coffee. And I'm just setting a bad example in here. And coffee and cigarettes are my best friends in the morning.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, when I used to smoke, I used to have a cigarette in the morning. Even though my mum would hate it, I would.
Yeah, that's kind of a bad habit. But yeah.
I mean, it feels nice, I guess.
Yeah, it's all right for me. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you, so is it literally the first thing you do when you wake up is spark up and...
Yeah, in a way. I hit the play button, I shuffle some music, and that gives me kind of an energy to just rise and shine kind of thing. Then hit the kettle on, pour the coffee, get first ciggy, and just start the day.
And well, coming back to prayers, so you prayed, so you'd say almost on a daily basis. Now you do it like a couple times a week?
Hardly ever, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. And would anyone do, because I practice meditation every single morning. I've done it every single morning for the last 10 years. And I guess it's somewhat similar to prayer. I mean, I don't necessarily pray to God, but I think, what am I grateful for and stuff like that. So in some ways, have you ever tried meditation before? Or?
Yeah, when I was in Vietnam, they tried to teach me like yoga and the meditation. But after a while, I couldn't just maintain the level that they had. So I just, all right, guys, I'm sorry. You just go for it. And I'm going to just watch you.
It's so funny. When you said I was in Vietnam, what that means to us Americans, we're talking about the war.
When I was in Vietnam.
You're right. I was living in Vietnam.
Okay, if you're living then that's different. Okay.
Not
the army, that was really progressive back then. I had no idea.
Nothing now in Vietnam. Yeah. I got you.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess, Varya, maybe you've had some experience with yoga.
No, I've never taken a yoga class, but I do certain stretches that one could say, oh, that's yoga. Mm-hmm. And probably is, because yoga is a lot older than ballet. Yeah. And stretch is stretch. But I don't pray. I don't want to beg anything to give me something that they're not going to give me. So there's no need to beg. And I try to remember of the things I should be grateful for, but usually it's like, oh, things could be a lot worse. So that's kind of what motivates
a type of
me.
Gratitude.
Yeah, I think so. You could stop complaining. Things could be a lot worse than this. So,
hey! I just want to say something. So when I pray, it's not just begging, okay? Just to be clear. Yeah. Because I always start with, well, back in the day when I used to pray, I would say, this is how it normally goes. Like, Lord, thank you so much for another day. I am so thankful for everything that I have. I am more fortunate than other people. Really, I start with gratitude. And then, after the gratitude, and then I ask for forgiveness. And then the last part is kind of like the begging part. If you could just, if I could
By
just
the
have
way,
this. So
Christmas
gratitude, forgiveness, and then begging.
When all else fails, the begging.
That's the last part.
I'm trying to get, oh my God, out of my vocabulary, because I go, oh my God. Oh no, there's no God, so why do I care? Oh, then what should I, oh my.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh,
gosh.
myself.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It comes back, oh, myself. Yes, myself.
All right, so we talked about stretching. I mean, I want to get into stretching. I'm just, some reason I can't really get into yoga. I can't bring myself to do yoga. So I don't know. Maybe I need to get over it, but I just don't feel like it's right for me. Have you ever done yoga, Ken?
No, but in the morning after that, drinking of water, I do just a little bit of stretching, maybe not in the same level as, various exercise in the morning, but a little bit of that, because I just want to stay flexible. I don't want to be, to grow old and not be able to pick up something from the ground. Yeah. Just something that will make my body flexible.
Really, maintenance.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, preventative care, so you don't end up into arthritic. Yeah. All right.
But going back to your question, you were asking me if I've ever done yoga.
Yes, yeah.
No, I haven't. But, well, my doors are open.
Mm-hmm.
But the question is when? Only time will tell.
I don't know if there's any yoga. Well, of course, there's probably a yoga studio in Novosibirsk.
Well, I suppose.
Well, I know a student who's a yoga teacher, so I would imagine that there is a yoga studio. I would imagine so. So, are you coming back to Vietnam?
Mm-hmm.
Not the war.
Not the
just
war.
to be clear.
So, how did they introduce yoga to you? Did they say, "Come on, Ugur, let's do some yoga," or did they?
Yeah, that was kind of a part of their daily routine. When I was working in a school, they have like a siesta time between 11 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So they sleep like 1 hour, and and after they wake up, they eat something light. Then they start the second half of the day as just practicing yoga.
Yeah.
So they were doing it in the school, and they just asked me, "All right, would you like to be a part of it?" And I said, "Why not?"
Yeah.
And it didn't work out well for me, so because I couldn't do all the things. So.
What do you guys think about siestas as a diet?
Definitely. Oh my goodness. I need that nap. But I can't take naps anymore, really. But I used to in my ballet days.
Yeah.
I would call it my double day, where I'd have a huge morning activity, and then I'd have to have that nap.
Mm-hmm. And it would just re-energize you. I mean, I think in principle it's probably a healthy thing, but maybe it might disrupt. Would you say it disrupts your sleep in the evening?
No, I wouldn't say that. But they say, if you've ever read studies, that you should have a power nap, and that would be like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So the danger is if you sleep too much. But I'd usually sleep at 1 hour, and that was good.
By the way, listeners, I definitely recommend that you check out our video podcast, which will come out later, where we talk about many different vocab lists, many different words, and we have a video where we talk about the subject of sleep. So definitely check that out at a later day. So yeah, I would love to have naps.
I agree. I mean, it's we need a little bit of break during the day just so we could re-energize and be back to battle in the classroom.
Back to battle. Yeah. All right. So we're kind of talking about what you do after the morning. Well, let's talk about breakfast. So you said you don't have breakfast. Is there a reason for that, or?
Yeah, because I still think about fat and stuff like that.
I don't think you have to, do you?
Yeah, I just think of, you put something in and then it's got to go somewhere on your body. So I still have that mentality of eating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it comes from maybe
ballet.
Yeah. So
I still have a thing about eating.
Oh, okay, fair enough. But don't you need, how would you keep that energy, maintain that energy throughout? I guess that's where the nap comes from.
Well, if you were to have a nap, yeah, certainly. I don't have the nap. But I don't like to depend on something.
Yeah.
And so I always want to depend on my own thoughts and my own will and my own direction.
Yeah.
That's really important to me.
Mm-hmm.
Mental strength.
So I've heard that, I mean, I don't always do this, but I've heard that it's important to have some protein in the morning. This is what I've heard. I mean, there's so many different sides to nutrition. You have some people who advocate one thing and other sides, but I've heard that protein is quite important in the morning. I mean, when I wake up, first thing I do, like I said, drink a pint of water, a lot of water, and then I'll have something like 4 or 5 bananas.
Wow.
Do you?
Wow.
4 or 5 with
I
potassium.
I go hardcore on the bananas.
Oh, maybe just a little tobacco would be enough, right?
But yeah, my breakfast is mainly just fruit. I love fruit. I go crazy with the fruit. So bananas, kiwis. Sometimes I might have some bread with peanut butter. Have you noticed? Well, do you eat peanut butter, Varya?
Yeah, I used to.
Very big in America and in England
crunchy,
too.
right.
We love peanut butter. This is not a very big thing in Russia. It's still, you can find peanut butter here, but it's not in every.
Have you found the little jars of Momo?
No?
Yeah, it's in the kind of the health food section of the shop. And Momo is a little jar, and it's really natural peanut butter. And I put that on bananas or something.
Nice, yeah. So I've only found peanut butter in bigger supermarkets, for instance, Ashan or OK. which are
Well, that's what I should say. In the health food section of OK.
Oh, right. So not just any old
Right.
shop. Yeah. All right. So yeah, I go big on the fruits and yeah, bread, maybe peanut butter, but I don't do that all the time. Occasionally, I do like a good old British fry up, which is toast, eggs.
Oh, I love toast.
Yeah.
I miss having toast.
Yeah, it is a English, and I guess it is American
yeah, definitely
staple.
toast with margarine and jam or something.
Yeah. No, I do love it. Go on, Ken. Tell me about your.
It was hard to listen to the both of you. One doesn't have breakfast, the other one just have fruit. Like, how is that possible? I mean, okay, I'm just thinking from my point of view because it's really impossible to start the day without anything in my stomach. I mean, I used to have just, cookies and coffee, and I thought that would be enough, but no. I remember when I was in Kazakhstan, when I went to my first class, I would hear my stomach. It's like a huge demonstration. We want food. We want food. Really, and it's so embarrassing because sometimes my students could hear it. And I would just, I would try to cough to cover up the noise from my stomach.
The rumbling.
Exactly. And that's why it's impossible. So for me, for breakfast, I'd like to have rice, meat. So
nice.
I know it sounds heavy, right? But hey.
With protein.
Exactly.
Do you cook that rice yourself?
Well, unfortunately, no.
Do you have to go out to get that from someone else?
Well, I buy it beforehand. So
heat it up.
The day before, and then heat it up in the morning because I never cook. I don't cook at all.
Well, have you ever used a rice cooker? I've never used one, but I've always been fascinated in.
When I was a kid, I used to know how to use it. I'm not sure I can still use it now, but when I was a kid, because we were trained by my grandmother to cook rice, but not dishes. Yeah.
Well, I know must have some experience having fought in Nam, having lived in Vietnam. What was a typical Vietnamese breakfast?
Breakfast, it was definitely pho.
Oh,
like
so it's
rice,
pho for breakfast,
rice noodles with chicken or beef or seafood in it. So their typical breakfast was like pho in the morning.
That sounds great.
It's like all the soup and broth that you have it. So that was a typical one.
That's one great thing about Novosibirsk is that there are so many Vietnamese restaurants here. That's really interesting because in Western cultures, we wouldn't think of such a dish as being a breakfast.
And heavy in a way.
But I think what's the life expectancy of Vietnam? I'd imagine it's pretty high, no?
Yeah.
People live to old ages.
To old ages, yeah.
Yeah, so they have, it's probably a good idea to look at what they do. Yeah.
They're living healthy and eating healthy.
Yeah, and I guess in the Philippines, there's quite a high life expectancy too.
I think, not to sound biased here, but East Asian people in general, we look young. I mean, generally, if you look at us...
We age well, yeah.
Yeah. And I would say, I think we tend to live longer. Sometimes my students ask me, so what's the secret? I just tell them, well, the secret is you have to be Asian. East Asian, to be exact. Yeah. That's the secret.
Yeah.
And then we in the United States have such a high rate of obesity.
Yeah. And in England too. Yeah, we have a big...
It's, I guess the sugar and all the access to
fat,
junk.
Yeah. Not to judge people who are overweight, but it is unhealthy.
Yeah, it's unhealthy. We don't want to... we want to be able to have yoga class, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's easier on your heart and everything. But I guess so the Vietnamese breakfast sounds like a wonderful breakfast, and I guess there are other. Well, I remember I went to China many years ago. I think 15 years ago or something, and we had prawns and rice for breakfast, which I was really surprised about.
Perfect.
Sounds great. Yeah, it was really nice. I was really surprised how nice it was to have it for breakfast. I mean, but I also like pizza for breakfast sometimes. So it feels I can really eat anything or ice cream.
And breakfast is the most important meal.
Yeah. Would you say so?
Yeah. And it's backed up by research. I've read it somewhere, and it says that really it is the most important meal.
Yeah. And do you all agree with the three, or not agree? Do you have 3 meals a day, or do you do 5 small meals, or do you do 2 meals a day? What do you have
I usually eat 2 meals in a day, not a breakfast and a little snack in the afternoon and a full dinner.
Yeah.
When
And
I'm
what
done.
would be a full dinner?
It's mostly contains protein, like meat with some vegetables on the side, maybe the peas or I don't know, broccoli maybe, and grains maybe. You can put in grains.
Yeah.
Maybe that's my full dinner, without any carbs or whatever.
Fair enough.
It doesn't sound like a lot of food, really.
Yeah, but it
Just like one little plate full, right?
the full plate. Yeah.
Yeah, nice big plate.
Big plate. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, I will make a huge salad. So one of those big salad bowls. I'll put the whole lettuce in. I'll put all that
Tomatoes
stuff.
and
Yeah, everything in there.
cucumbers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, let's move on from breakfast and from meals for the time being. Let's go on to the subject of commuting, because that's part of people's daily routine usually. Luckily, well, I and most of us, all of us, we live really close to the Big Apple school. So we only walk, what is it, like 10 minutes, maybe 15.
No, mine's about 3 minutes.
Yeah, of course. You're
Lucky you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's swap flats maybe. but what's the longest commute you've ever had in your life?
Oh my God. I used to commute so much in my ballet days for years and years. There was one school that was an hour and a half away. And of course, this is through traffic. So my double day would be at least an hour of commute to ballet class, to have ballet class and rehearsal, an hour back.
Yeah.
And then another hour, at least 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes to teach and back. So it was really a lot of gas, a lot of mileage.
So you said Los Angeles, that was?
No, that wouldn't be in Atlanta.
Oh, in Atlanta,
Georgia. Yeah.
So having been in Los Angeles for a few months, I just remember the traffic was outrageous. It was just, I guess, is it the same?
Oh, Atlanta, is really bad too. But if you're working far away anyway, like say 20 miles, it will take a long time. Or 30 miles. There were places where I worked 30 miles away from home.
Yeah. And would you have like a particular routine in your car?
Yeah. It would change throughout the decades, but I would maybe slap an AC/DC, or I might listen to NPR news.
Oh, NPR, I know. Yeah.
Or something, country, Western music, something.
I love Western music. Alan Jackson, I love him.
The old times.
Yeah. No, I lived in, as some of our listeners might know, I lived in Las Vegas for some time, and my commute in Vegas was quite interesting. Sometimes I would drive, but I only lived about, 3 miles from the hotel casino that I used to work in. And
on the Strip.
Yeah, on the Strip, right on the Strip. It used to be the Imperial Palace, but when I worked there,
I know that one.
It was called the Link Hotel. So when I worked there, I would sometimes drive to work. I mean, 3 miles is not particularly far, but it's far enough that if you're in a suit in the Vegas heat, it's probably not a good idea to. And also, I lived in a kind of a rough part of town, so there were. There were some gangsters around, so I didn't really want to walk around in a suit through some hood. But one time my car broke down, and that's a whole other story, which maybe we can discuss another time. But I decided to start riding my bicycle to work in Las Vegas, and it was really hot. And as soon as I got to the hotel, I would have to take a shower and it was
that arid heat where you breathe it in and just like hits your lungs and your nose and your nostrils.
Yeah. But cycling in Vegas is, because I used to cycle all the time in London, and there are cycle lanes. People don't really ride their bicycles in Vegas unless they are doing nefarious things. But cars don't like bicycles in Vegas, and they get very irritated when you ride your bicycle, especially down the Strip. That was amazing, riding my bicycle on the Las Vegas Strip every day.
Yeah, I never saw any bicyclists when I was.
Yeah, it's not a common thing, but it was quite fun. But in England, I would used to commute. I mean, my longest commute, I'd say, was an hour. So I worked in another hotel in central London. That took about, a solid 40 minutes on the train. It was horrible, like having to cram inside the train with all those people, especially in the summer. It was rotten. So I decided to ride my bike, even though it was a 9-mile commute, which was quite a long distance. But yeah. Well, what about you, Ken? So what's your longest ever commute?
About the same as that of Varya's, an hour and a half. That was when I worked for the first time at a private high school. And I still remember those days because I also had to change, modes of transport from a jeepney, which is kind of like a mini bus.
Okay.
And then I have to switch to...
Was it like a marshrutka, but in the Philippines?
I guess you could call that.
Yeah.
So, and then after that, I would use the subway. And then after the subway, another jeepney again. And I remember back in the day, I would, it was just so frustrating because there were times when I would arrive late and there was always a punishment. Like 1 minute is 1 peso. I don't know how much that is in dollars. But anyway, so if you're late for 1 minute, 1 peso. And then, of course, it goes on.
Yeah.
2 minutes, 2 pesos. And I was on the verge of giving up. Like, is this really worth it? Like, do I really have to travel, this long for this job? Although I held on to it for a full year because I thought to myself, well, I really love the job. I love my students. I really like the school, but it's just the distance that I had to cover and the time that I had to wake up because my first class was at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And I had to be...
That's horrible.
I had to wake up way earlier than that and to have my heavy breakfast, a little bit of exercise and all of that. And I just thought, well, sorry, Varya, but... While I was, in my journey to school, I was asking God, like, God, is this still worth it? Like, give me signs if it's time to go. But, thank God I was able to complete the year.
So the commute brings you closer to the Almighty.
But really, it was a struggle. And the heat, you have no idea how humid it is in Manila.
It must be horrible.
Oh my God. Southeast Asia in general, it's really, it's boiling. It's boiling hot.
Yeah. Because Vegas is obviously really hot, but it's dry heat. So it's actually quite, at times it is horrible, but 48 degrees Celsius, so that's 125. It was, my record was 48 Celsius, so that's 125. I know.
I would watch it go up to 110 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Sometimes 115.
Yeah, when you lived in Vegas. Yeah, exactly. So it was hot, but sometimes it's quite nice actually, because it's like a sauna. Yeah.
You know what's funny is I still remember this. Every time I arrived at school, it looked as though I just had a workout. Like I would sweat out, catching my breath. Okay. So, and it's just the start of the day. Yeah. Can you believe that? That's why I really asked myself, is it really worth it? And
well, is it normal because obviously you worked in Southeast Asia as well. Is it normal to come to work really sweaty? Can you prevent that? Like, what if you have to wear a suit? Is it normal? Because,
well, I don't know which part of Vietnam he is because I think the northern part is kind of cooler.
It's cooler than the southern part.
Yeah.
But if you're living in Saigon, it's very humid, very hot. And as you said, you need to wear a special poncho when you're riding your motorbike in order to avoid the sun. Yeah. But you're right. When you get into your office or the school, you are all sweaty and you need to change your shirt before you start your work in a way. Yeah. So you need to just carry a spare shirt.
And because of the limitations of the climate, is it considered rude to come into work all sweaty? So I don't know. I mean, is it rude if you have sweat patches under your arms, or is it? Because obviously in England, people would look at you if you came into school like all sweaty.
Well,
but
it is. We've already accepted it. And so we always carry with us a fan. Yeah. Well, I don't know if they do that in Vietnam, but in the Philippines we do. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. Yeah. Most likely you will take with you a fan.
Yeah.
Like really.
So that's part of your routine. Have a fan.
Yeah.
A little fan. Well, I guess Western people tend to sweat more. I think that's true. Would you say? Yeah. We. So maybe it's less of a problem, I guess.
But don't worry. If you're talking about hygiene, we use deodorant. Okay, it's just not to smell.
I've heard that the Chinese use the least amount of deodorant because they just don't smell as bad as we do in the West.
Well, I don't know about that, but at least in the Philippines, we're very particular with smell. So we're careful.
Because I've read somewhere that Eastern jeans tend to have less of a smell than Western jeans. And I remember hearing from someone who knows something about China that Chinese people apparently think that Westerners smell like milk and like dairy products. And yeah, it is true. Westerners do tend to smell more than people in the East. Yeah, it is. Yeah, whatever. It's just one of our.
No offense, Western people.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so funny because, coming from you.
Yeah. Anyway, so we talked about commute. Oh, well, actually, tell me about your commute.
As I said, when I was in Vietnam, as living and working, not for war, I was riding a motorbike. So
that's so cool.
Yeah, it was all right. But when it's in the summertime, it was kind of a torture because all the heat that you are having directly.
Yeah.
And you need to wear the poncho, and it took like 35 to 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that bad.
Did you own the motorbike?
Yeah. I have my own motorbike,
I know it's kind of a separate topic, but did you need to get a license, or is it easy? You don't need a license there.
No. You only need to just, I'm living in that apartment, in that street, and you just need your motorbike to get registered in the motor vehicle kind of department or whatever. Yeah. So you don't need an extra license for riding a motorbike.
Fair enough. Oh, cool. So
that was easy.
That sounds like the best commute. Oh my God, I'd love to ride a motorbike to work. That sounds so fun.
Sometimes I miss riding a motorbike. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Well, now it's the summer. The summer's coming in Russia. It'd be quite fun it'd be quite difficult to ride on the roads here.
Potholes, potholes, and the rain all the time.
Yeah, but I would have to say that would be my favorite commute, riding on a motorbike. Yeah. Cool. All right. So we talked about commutes. Talked about sleep a little bit. We'll talk more about that later. Let's talk about doing the groceries. Do you typically do you have like a routine for doing the groceries? What do you do?
Well, in when I was in the States, my rule was I only go once a week.
Yeah.
And of course, I had a car, and I would put the groceries in the trunk of the car. Now I have to labor to get to the store. I have to walk and carry and oh my goodness, like a daily routine, or at least 3 times, if not 4 times, if not 5 times.
Yeah. Well, one thing I've noticed is, I've also read about this, is in European cultures, there's less of this drive and do the groceries. The shops are smaller, especially in the Netherlands, for instance, where you have really small shops, and people just do bits and bobs every single day. They buy a few groceries here, and the next day they'll buy another few groceries on a daily basis, as and when people need to buy products. So you used to buy your groceries every day. Oh, so not every week, sorry, once a week. But now you do it,
almost every day, every other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I plan it so that, I won't have to go out of the house for 2 days. I have to, plan it.
So, so you would say it's like a routine, you'd say.
Definitely a routine.
Yeah. I'd say I go almost every day now.
Yeah. Same.
So, I'd say Well, what about you?
Yeah,
Ken?
Me too. Mostly because of the food, because I don't cook. So that's first. And then I buy toiletries, and now I go to the section where you can buy, toys for dogs and cats. Yeah, I know.
For yourself, yeah?
Well, no, it's not for myself. I have a friend who has a bull terrier dog. Cool. And it's the one that's making me happy because I need joy in my life right now. And so every time I go to Spar, I always go to that section and try to figure out, what would interest my big boy? And I was there last Saturday. He made me so happy, but the ball was destroyed. Like totally, just within, one day, because he was so obsessed with it. And now I asked my friend, so how's the ball? And then he said, oh, I'm sorry, it's broken. Totally. And I said, okay, so maybe I can buy, or I can get him something else. Yeah, and that's what I was thinking about yesterday, but I just couldn't make up my mind yet. So perhaps today I'll go back.
Did it make a specific noise?
No. I actually don't understand why. I mean, there must be something with this particular ball, because it smells in a particular way. I don't know, because this dog, I mean, he has his own ball at home. Yeah, that was bought by my friend. But he's not too obsessed with it. But with this particular ball, it's orange. I don't know, it smells rubbery to me. Maybe it smells something else to the dog. He's just so obsessed with it. Like, he wants the ball all to himself. Such that whenever I grabbed it from him, he wouldn't let go of the ball. And I thought, like, there must be something... in this ball. Yeah.
So that's part of the dog's daily routine. I really wonder if animals have a daily routine. Maybe some animals do. I don't know. Are humans the only animals that have a daily routine? I don't know.
Say what?
Are humans the only animals that have a daily routine?
I don't think so. Animals do.
Animals do.
Yeah. Especially those animals that scavenge. Animals also have, they also live in societies, like communities, and they have a function. And they have their own time during the day of what to do, when to make love. I mean, seasons for that.
Oh, that's true.
What I mean.
Yeah, I guess that's like a seasonal thing.
Yeah. So, come on, you're too, you think humans are the best.
Well, we are still animals. All right, so we got a little bit distracted because I heard you're talking
I'm sorry about that.
You're
dog
talking
thing.
about squish toys.
We're talking about the groceries. Yeah, I do that every day. Including some dog stuff.
I'm doing that every day.
And do you venture out to the bigger supermarkets, or do you like to stick to the nearby supermarket?
Nearby, mostly.
Yeah.
But if I need something extra, I go directly to the mega malls, kind of or the bigger ones.
Yeah.
But mostly the small ones. Convenient for me. Yeah.
Fair enough. I like to go. Sometimes I go to Ashan, the big one in the Sibirsky Mall. Yeah. So the big place, and that's Aura, just down the road. But Sibirsky Mall is another mall. It's not too far from here. It's about, I'd say, just over a mile or 2 kilometers or so from the Big Apple School. But I'd like to stock up on some things there. It's a good place. All right. Anyway, okay, so we talked about groceries. Let's look at, dinner. We talked already a lot about food. Do you have a ritual whereby you do the dishes immediately after eating? Do you clean the dishes as soon as you finish?
I only have one dish, so I have to wash it.
Yes, same. One plate, one fork. That's it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, if you need more dishes, I can give you some because I have a few too many. I've always got a mountain to clean. I try to do it every day, but sometimes...
I do sweeping every day. Every day, the floor must be swept.
Yes, it is dusty here, especially
dusty,
here.
dirty, and then all the other stuff that would be...
Yeah. I mean, I don't get the opportunity to do it every single day.
I can't do it every day, too.
If I have a lot of lessons, I can't. And then
every 3 days or maybe one.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you don't go around barefooted then?
It's
something. If you're barefooted, you're going to feel every little pee.
I know.
Slippers. You can get slippers here.
I have the slippers, but under the slippers, there's also dust, kind of. I know. But
sitting there.
Yeah. And what about you? Do you
do the dishes?
Yeah, do the dishes after dinner.
Well, it depends on my mood and how much energy is left after, at the end of the day. I don't want to sound like, okay. But okay, there are times when the dishes, they just sit in the sink.
Yeah.
And then I'll just find that the energy to wash them later on perhaps the next day.
Yeah. That's okay. I mean, I do that.
Do you ever go into your kitchen and think, why doesn't someone do the dishes?
There should be someone.
Someone should be there doing them.
Really, if only I could, afford to hire someone to do it for me.
Or you could get mad at yourself. Why didn't you do your dishes? Well, I was waiting for you to do your dishes.
Yeah, it's quite... Yeah, because it's funny, because we don't say to wash... I mean, do you say to wash the dishes?
Yeah, wash the dishes.
You could say that. I mean, I always say
you don't want to shower the dishes.
Yeah,
wash the shower.
I say to do the dishes.
Yeah, definitely do the dishes. Definitely.
Or in Britain we say, well, I don't know. In America, do you say to do the washing up?
I don't know. That
All right,
means
so-
washing up with the body.
Oh, no, that's only dishes in England. If you say to
No.
do the washing
Clean
up.
Clean up.
Clean up. Because if you say to do the washing up, it does
That would
not
be
mean showers in England. It means to only do...
Yeah. Washing up would mean the body.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, because we would just say to wash yourself. Go wash yourself. You smell bad. but yeah, washing up in England, yeah. Oh, interesting. So I didn't even realize that.
You also say clear, don't you? Say clear when we say clean.
Actually, no, clear is like tidy.
Yeah.
Clear is to tidy. Clear up.
Clear. You could clear off a table.
Yeah.
But clearing up is not clean.
Oh, interesting. So that's the phrasal verb particles. We have off and up. So in America, you say clear off.
Clear off the table. Take all the stuff off the table. Clear off.
Maybe we
But
could
clear
say
up.
that, yeah.
Clear up some problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah, clear up some problems. That's interesting. Yeah. No, clear up the table. Well, we can also say it for weather, I believe, as well. The sky has cleared up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could do that too. So, all right. Okay. So as I promised, we're now going to talk about bedtime. We already talked about morning.
Are we going to
waking
talk
up
about bedtime stories? No, I'm kidding.
Oh, maybe you can
Because you
read us.
said bed.
You can read us a lullaby if you are so inclined. Well, maybe that was a routine for you when you were a kid. Did your parents or someone read a lullaby to you before you went to bed?
Oh, yeah. My mom would sing to me.
Wow.
It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But books mostly, mom just read the books before bedtime.
Yeah.
So not lullaby thing or singing, but read the books. Oh, look at that. Just like,
Yeah.
look at the lion just roaring, kind of, yeah.
No, I remember my dad would sometimes read me books, which was really nice. And I remember he read Harry Potter to us when it first came out in the late, what was it, 99 or something? It was quite a while ago. So he read the book, one of the books to us when it first came out. Maybe not the whole book, but of course you all know the character Hermione.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we had never come across the name Hermione before. I mean, is this a name that you've seen before reading Harry Potter? It's a strange name. So he thought she was called Hermione.
To be honest with you, that's how I used to read that.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't just, yeah.
And then when I heard it in the film, oh, okay. Got it.
It was an aha moment. So yeah, we thought it was Hermione the whole time. My dad's like a well-read person. Like he's not, no one had ever come. I wonder where J.K. Rowling found that name, how she came up with that name. So, all right. So lullabies, books. What else? Do you have like a bedtime routine? Do you have like a pre-bedtime?
Yes, I have lots of tasks to do. Everything has to be perfect before I get in bed.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Curtains have to be just right. Things have to be tidied up, as they say in the UK.
Yeah. Tidy.
Yeah, everything has to be just right.
Yeah. Do you watch TV before bed? I'm not gonna lie, I do.
I do.
watch TV before bed. Yeah. What about you, Ken?
I watch YouTube.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Couple of episodes of a series or whatever, yeah.
Yeah. Like I watch it until it helps me fall asleep. Some people say don't watch, or a lot of people say don't watch TV or watch digital devices before bed. But I feel that it helps me fall asleep. It makes me tired. And what about you, Varya? Do you?
Yeah, it's very interactive, so that bothers me because you have to get up and then switch this I don't like the interactive.
Oh, so is your TV not next to your bed?
No, it's on my computer, my laptop.
So you just close the laptop and put it on the floor, no?
Oh, no, you couldn't do that. That's not proper.
In various vocabulary, that's not proper.
No, I just have the TV opposite where I sleep, and I just turn it off and put the remote on the floor, and off I go. Off I go to sleep. Yeah.
But I do it the same way as Varya does. I, turn off my laptop, make sure that it's back on the table before I go to bed. Yeah, like I do it properly too.
And another question, do you wear pajamas? I don't wear pajamas. Do you wear pajamas?
I used to when I was a kid, but now no. I'm too old for that.
Yeah. Well, some
I
people...
don't like guys in pajamas. I think it looks kind of silly.
Yeah, I don't.
Like if they wear sweatpants, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe a t-shirt, okay, but not the little button-up pajamas.
Right.
It's quite old school. Yeah.
But I don't wear pajamas because in case of some emergency, so I have kind of lounge clothes that I wear.
Sweatpants, kind of.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. All right, guys. Well, before we finish off, I have a few. So I have a few different cultures we can talk about in terms of their daily routines. I have here on my computer. There are several cultures, and they all, of course, do different things. Here we have Bolivia. Do you guys know much about Bolivia?
Coffee.
I just know the capital city, La Paz.
La Paz, yeah, La Paz. So let me just quickly read through their daily routine. So their breakfast, they have these things called salteñas. What are salteñas? Does anyone know?
No idea.
I don't know. So their breakfast is that. Then they commute to work by foot. And then a typical worker, well, this worker is called a pastoralist. What is a pastoralist? Apparently it's someone who looks after alpacas. So he works.
I like that job.
I love alpacas.
An alpaca carer, he will go by foot to work and then play with the alpacas.
That's the job, right?
Yep, that's his job. And then for lunch, you'll have this soup called sopa de maní. Sounds interesting. And then he will have at break time. You have a little party, a little fiesta. Dinner.
The live, right? Yeah.
And then for dinner, he will have this dish called a mondongo. Have you heard of a mondongo? Sounds really interesting. Well, it must be Spanish, a Hispanic name. And then he goes to sleep in a Western style bed. Well, anyway, coming back to beds, what kind of bed would you sleep in? Would you sleep in a Japanese style bed on the floor, or would you only sleep in a Western style bed?
That's interesting because when I was growing up, again, with my grandmother, we used to sleep on the floor. But of course, there's a mat. Yeah. But we still have our pillows, of course.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And was it really hard?
At that time, it didn't feel so hard. Maybe I was just too young to actually realize that.
Yeah.
But of course, nowadays, I sleep on a bed or a couch.
Yeah. Oh, couch. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so that's the typical Bolivian daily routine. Maybe it's not, but let's look at another daily routine from another country. Nepal, so a typical Sherpa mountaineer. I think you all know Sherpas. Yeah, people.
Yeah, that'd be a
mountain
hard
guides.
job.
So their breakfast, dal bat, whatever that is. Do you know what a dal bat is?
I hope it's not a bat.
A bat. Transportation, well, walks by foot and then does more walking when he walks around the mountains. For lunch, another dal bat.
so that's something delicious. Yeah.
For fun, he does some dance or something called a cham. I don't know. And then for dinner, a shapka. Shakpa. So shapka is hat in Russian.
And in Turkish too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's where it comes from.
Yeah,
so
Russian,
Shapka.
Wow.
So Russian must have taken it from. That's really interesting.
Shapka, cap.
Oh my God! Just had a eureka moment. That's well, yeah, because a lot of Turkish words
in Russian. Yeah.
Interesting. So the dinner is shakpa. And they sleep on a platform bed. So those are two interesting cultures which are different to Western cultures. Let's look at a South Korean typical day, which I'd say is actually not so different to a typical Western day. A typical Korean high school student, or rice for breakfast, soup or whatever, take the bus to work, exam preparation, then they'll have some more soup or kimchi,
Kimchi.
They'll play video games at night, and they'll have some interesting evening ritual. It's called Hagwon. I'm not sure if you.
It's like an after school. School. It's like, preparation for exams or for the different subjects that they have
Evening
difficulties.
School kinda,
So they have a pretty heavy schedule. Yeah. Well, I guess like in the West too. Well, especially, maybe not Scandinavian cultures where they have a much more relaxed daily routine, but American and South Korean and perhaps British daily routines sound to be more hectic. Well, what would you rather? Would you rather a more packed, hectic daily routine, or would you rather play with some alpacas? And
alpacas work.
Do you know? Yeah.
At this point in my life, I'd rather go with the alpacas.
I think maybe we can take a step back from our Western cultures and probably learn a lot from these different cultures whereby they have a more relaxed, well, maybe not relaxed, but a more, would you say simple or minimalistic style of living? It sounds more refreshing. It sounds more...
Minimalistic sounds good.
Yeah, minimalistic. Sounds much better. And I would personally prefer...
And closer to nature.
Yeah. Well, I think we can all agree that playing with alpacas is a must-do. All right, guys, let's wrap that up for today. Thank you very much. And guys, please do share your thoughts. Let us know if you have any ideas for a future podcast episode title. So let us know. And also check out our website, www.bigappleschool.com, where you can find a range of interesting articles, videos, other interesting stuff too. And also sign up to our social media platforms where you can stay up to date with what we offer at the Big Apple School. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye for now.